Welcome back to Community Conflict. I had not planned to do this, but one of your classmates asked if I would talk about the Dukes text. And if enough of you think that would have enhanced the course, I could talk about the Dukes text weekly. I just didn't want to overload you with community interviews of alumni doing community conflict, as well as Dukes lectures, but I am happy to have a few moments at least at the end of your course to share a few comments about Dukes. Now actually, for future courses, I may even introduce these thoughts early on. You will all benefit. I have met Dukes. Franklin Dukes is one of the pioneers of our field, particularly in environmental conflict resolution. He is at the University of Virginia, and if any of you have family in Virginia like I do, you know this is the heart of tobacco country. The smoking industry, tobacco farming, big, contentious, profitable conflict. And I wanted you to use his book because he truly shares the vision that I heard repeatedly when I first started mediating, when I first studied win-win negotiation in law school. And I'm very happy with seeing how many of you have resonated with his thoughts, his philosophy, his wisdom and knowledge. He truly has introduced you to the original vision of our field. And sadly, the hopes, the ambitions, everything that you have been reading has been only realized to a preliminary extent. You truly aren't seeing most of what he describes with community public engagement. And I am with him in believing this is at the heart of a vibrant democracy that includes all people, that responds to all needs to the best of its ability. Now, I would like to explore with you today some of the reasons that this vision has yet to be more fully realized. But first, I'll tell you, if you are interested in learning more about his vision in practice in the world today, Community Boards of San Francisco was one of the original nonprofits that embraced this vision and did a much more creative community public engagement than most of our community mediation centers. So if you're in Northern California, I recommend you connect. If you're interested in what's happening on an international scale, Partners for Democratic Change is a nonprofit and NGO that truly embraced this vision in many ways and operates in various parts of the world. I worked intimately with some of the staff when I was working in the Balkans during their war, doing community dialogue. But as I said, this is too rare. Instead, what is more likely is court alternative dispute resolution programs and community mediation programs that are somewhat playing it safe by simply joining those court alternative dispute resolution programs. Now, I am a believer in what they do in the courts. I think there's a lot of room for improvement and education, development of mediation skills. I don't have the time to really go into that discussion today. But certainly for all of you who are beginning mediators, this is a wonderful opportunity to take an internship where you're actually trying, testing, developing your mediation skills. So I will speak up on behalf of Court ADR. But the question that I would like to address today is, why did this arena flourish and grow when all the rest of this important vision did not? And one answer is that cost savings is a greater motivator than engaging with angry citizens and people. The latter takes much more skill. Court ADR programs rely on minimal mediation skill, sometimes even untrained volunteers. They certainly are not supervising to ensure that quality mediation is happening. Their measure of success tends to be quick and easy agreement and cost savings. Most mediators and arbitrators to date have come from the legal arena. Like myself, they are former lawyers, litigators, oftentimes retired judges. And they can be relatively unskilled in this arena. They can act as evaluative mediators, authoritative mediators, without relying on actual facilitative skill or an ability to do integrative win-win negotiation. They are part of the legal court world. It's where they're most comfortable, most familiar. And it's a place where money motivates, along with cost savings. So these are some of the reasons that this arena has flourished while the rest of NCRP has not, or has taken much slower to progress. Now, there are some exceptions. If any of you are familiar with the U.S. Community Relations Mediation Service, some of their mediators have been friends and mentors of mine. They are the mediators that are called in for riots, for problems like we saw many years ago with Wounded Knee. And they are trained to go into the thick of angry, contentious conflict. I have not seen them present with the police community problems that we've been witnessing in recent months. And I have not kept up to date with whether they are being funded by our current government. But they are truly, if they still exist and are active, are some of our model mediators for doing community mediation work. Now, one of your classmates, one of the community conflict classmates who's been a long-term government employee, raised a very important point that in recent decades, government has been so concerned with possible liability and lawsuits that they have been avoiding, in my mind, anything but token processes. And one of the problems is they are not, I mean, my system, frankly, the CSU system has a model team of top lawyers who are skilled at school liability, consultation, mediation, arbitration. But too many public entities lack the legal skill that they truly need in order to reassure them that they can mediate, they can do alternative dispute resolution, NCRP, without incurring liability. In fact, if they involve lawyers, it's one of the smartest and most cost-effective things they can do. Now, I hope your classmate does propose and implement a report card to help with this, because this would be a great service. Now, I only have a few minutes to talk with you today. So I want to end by encouraging those of you who are interested in learning more, even post-class, to look into some of the people who have focused on and made their expertise community conflict resolution, NCRP. UC Berkeley has a nationally, perhaps internationally renowned faculty who does urban community planning, and her expertise is NCRP. I don't have her name handy, but if any of you, once again, are in Northern California, I think I mentioned that Berkeley's Community Mediation Center was doing community policing. They were doing some more innovative community conflict resolution work, and I'm sure they would have her name that they could give to you, or if you want me to investigate, I could probably easily remember and give you that name. There are also people like Barbara Gray, whose collaboration book is also, along with Duke's book, a standard with public engagement in NCRP. I spoke with Susan Carpenter years ago. She's another person in our field who has focused on this important arena. Our field is still very much a young, emerging field. So you have a great deal that you will be able to contribute after you graduate. We're not a baby, but we are certainly still a child, perhaps a teen. And what I'm saying is there is a great deal of growth that can happen in realizing Duke's vision, and I hope every one of you play your part. Okay, I've enjoyed having the class with you. If I'm showing this lecture for some of you just starting the class, I hope it's a great one. It's a rich one. All the best.